everyone, my name is Jenny. Welcome back to another lesson. Today's topic is about the melody writing for grade 8 music theory exam. For this melody that I composed today will contain one deliberate mistake. So let's play a game together. See whether you can spot the mistake towards the end of this lesson. You'll be a very basic music theory mistake. And please drop your answer in comment area below to tell me where's the mistake. Compared to my 12-bar melody writing format in the past, this time round is much more advanced. It will help you to score much better as we have more technique to showcase. As the melodic structure today is very basic, the phrase structure will get more and more complicated as my YouTube lessons progress. In next lesson, I may want to work on more complicated phrase structures, melody with irregular phrases, for example. So today I'm going to recommend the format of ternary form. Since the 16-bar melody is longer with 4 lines on the score, we will add in more complex writing technique like imitations, more sequences in your structure. But you don't need to worry when I say it's more complicated, because in this video I'm going to show you step by step on what are the devices to be used, and I'm sure you can also do it and be able to write a beautiful melody towards the end of this video. Without further ado, let's start the lesson now. Thank you for watching. Please stay subscribed and Okay, hello, thank you for coming back to another lesson. So basically we are doing a ternary form. The beginning is given opening 1, 2, 3, 4, and then second line we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so today we look at the most basic one. Usually the opening 2 bars is a tonic. It will be in tonic key, and the given opening will be here. And then over here you need to have your own melody. Compose your own melody, okay, that follow the same rhythmic idea. Okay, not too complicated. Follow the same rhythmic idea of the bar 1 and 2. And then in second line, we are going to modulate to dominant key. So before modulate, we need to have a cadence, which is 4 to 5. We will end this in 4 to 5. And then when we modulate to new key, it will be dominant key. Okay, so dominant key plus we need to use the technique of imitation. Okay, later I will explain what does imitation mean. We need to show a technique of imitation here. And then bar 7 to 8, we need to have another cadence, okay, own melody again. And then end this melody with 1, 5, okay, or any chords go to 5 that has an imperfect cadence, which means here is imperfect cadence, here also imperfect cadence. Okay, so I just tell you, share the plan with you first. And then third line, we need to start your new melodic idea, which means this will be your section B. Section B, you need to have new melodic idea and new rhythm. Okay, and this bar will have a sequence. Sequence means you copy the melodic idea and rhythmic idea from the previous phrase, and this bar have another sequence that you copy the melodic and rhythmic idea of previous bar, and then here you end this section B with 4 and 5. Okay, so after that you can go back to tonic key, which means the given opening will come back here. Okay, it will be in tonic. And towards the end, you can have a 1 to 5 and then 1. Okay, so leading note must go to tonic. So this is the outline. Okay, the first technique that we use is imitation. The second technique, melodic writing technique that we use will be the sequence. Okay. Now let's look at this piece of music as an example. Okay. So the section A is your tonic, and going towards section B will be your climax of the music. Okay, so this is bar 1 to 8. So this one 9 to 12. Then after that, section C go back to the last section the tonic will come back again. Okay, so that will be 13 to 16. So I've done the bar 1 and 2. This 2 bar is done. And then this 2 bar also done. Okay, because the melody must come back. So during exam, you can do these and these first. That's the first step you can do. Copy these 2 bars. So these 4 bars, once it's done, you only left 12 bars to complete. So as what we say just now, the next bar you can use chord 2 of D major. Okay, so this is in D major because you only have 2 sharps. So please make sure you get the opening key correctly, because at the end of this music you must go back to tonic. If you don't go back to tonic, that means you are doing this melody in wrong key, and you can get 0 mark for this if you get the wrong key. So how do we know the key is correct? First of all, 2 sharp, it can only be D major or B minor. In this case, you don't see it raising A. The A has no sharp. Okay, so in that case, it cannot be a B minor. So the key has to be D major. And you can also see that the D and F sharp. Okay, it starts with D, F, A chord 1 here in the beginning. So since it starts with D major chord in the beginning, then you know this is a D major key. Okay, as what we planned before, I want this to be chord 2, and then chord 4, and then chord 5. Okay, we end this with imperfect cadence, so that this chord 5 can be a pivot chord transit to the new key. Okay, so you just need to use chord 5 here. As we planned just now, the second line we should modulate to a dominant key. So what does dominant key means? Means the 5th key from D major, which is A major. So in A major, we can start with chord 1 and 2. Okay, same chord as this, because we are doing a imitation. Okay, these 2 bar we use the technique of imitation. Okay, we imitate this and imitate this. Okay, let's look at this line first. And then I will end this line with chord 4, chord 1, and chord 5. Okay. For time being, we just do these 2 lines first. So first line, 3rd bar, we use chord 2, which is a E, G, B. Okay, there is an A here, so don't forget to copy this A. Then after that, because the chord 2 is chord E, G, and B, so I will choose to start with G. How to construct a melody? Okay, so make sure you choose G, the nearest note, because G is the nearest note to this A. So after you choose G, the next thing you can do is decide whether you want to skip to another note, which is B. You can also repeat the G. So only have 2 possibilities. So in this case, I choose to skip to B. Okay, between G and B, you can, if you want to smoothen the melody, you can put an A. Put A as a passing note. Then after that, after B, I want to, let's say I want to skip to D. So one of the possibilities is you skip to B, but just now you already skipped. Okay, so now instead of skipping to B, you can choose to repeat B. Because if you skip all the way to B, you will add another passing note. As you can see, if you choose another B, you add A as passing note. It's like writing a scales. Then it's not so much like a melody. So instead of skipping to B, I choose the G again. So here, I can imitate the rhythm of this. Okay, so this is what you can do. Then after that, you have 1 count, 2 count, 2 crotchets already. Then after that, you need 1 more crotchet. Okay, 1 more crotchet. Okay. After that, this is chord 4, G, B, D. So I decided to choose B because B is the nearest to this G. Okay, so I choose to start with a B. After B, you can decide again, you want to skip to another note or you want to repeat the B. Okay, so in this case, I decided I want to skip to D. Okay, so between B and D, I'll add a C. Okay, so now once you have 3 notes, add the rhythm. Okay, now let me explain why did I choose to D. Because you have an imperfect cadence here. When you have imperfect cadence 4 to 5, you are supposed to lead your melody go to tonic and dominant, tonic and leading note. Tonic and leading note. The reason why we call the 7th note of the key as a leading note, because it should lead home. Okay, the tonic is your home, and it should always be together with leading note at the end of the phrase. This gives you a good sense of ending at the end of the melody. It works like a comma. Okay, so when you write article, you need comma at the end of one sentence. Okay, so this one tonic and leading note will give you a sense like comma when you write an article. Okay, so it sounds like unfinished and going somewhere, but you are just resting for a short while. Okay, so in terms of dynamics, since you already increased here you already increased to loud here, you can decrease the melody because it's going down, and to soft. To end this phrase softly. Now you are the composer, you have the freedom to choose how you want to end this phrase. Okay. Next, second line, you need to have an imitation. Imitation means in first bar. Okay, first line, first bar, you have D, F, A. And the first note, you start with the 5th note of the chord, right, which is A. Okay, if you start with 5th note of the chord, then in second line, first bar, you must also start with 5th note of the chord, which is A, C, E. So the 5th note of the chord is E. So follow the melodic direction, must have same intervals also. Okay. So E, so here going up, you also go up with same rhythm. So this is called imitation. E, F. So after E, F, G, A. Okay, same as bar 1. And don't forget the G has a sharp because this is a A major, and I follow the same phrasing sign. So all this I also do add the phrasing, add the slur. Okay, this is your own preference, how you want to slur your notes. And here you start with E, G, B. Okay, so the second note is a E, which is a root note. So here B, D, F. The second note is the root note is B. So it should have a B over here. So continue to copy the melody direction. So here is A sharp. Okay, so here to here is a semitone, E, E sharp. So here you also do the same thing, B, and then B sharp. And then next bar is chord 4, A, G, F. This is a chord D, F, A. So if this is D, F, A, I choose the nearest note, which is A. I always choose the nearest note to start the bar. So after A, I choose to skip. So if you choose to skip, you need to have a passing note, which is a G in between. So A, G sharp, F. And then E, F. Okay, so after skip, A skip to F. Then after that, from F and F, I repeat. So when you skip, you add a passing note. When you repeat, you add an auxiliary note. Okay, so this is how your melody will look like. Okay, so later on, I'm going to use this method to continue writing the melody. Okay, skip, add passing note, repeat, add auxiliary note. Okay, so this DFA is done. So third beat, I would like to add after F, I will skip to A again. So between F and A, I add a passing note. Okay. Yeah, so that's all for this bar. Next bar is A, C, E. So in this case,
A, C, E. I choose the nearest note, which is a C. C, I choose to skip to E. Okay, so between C and E, I add D as passing note. So this is first crotchet. So after E, I choose to skip to A again. Okay, so D, C, B, A. Okay, D, C, B, A. So also all these notes belong to chord 1, which is A, C, E. Then after chord 1, I will go to 5. Okay, as we say, 1 to 5 is a cadence. Imperfect cadence it will sound like a comma for your phrase. And don't forget, you need to lead A to G sharp. One to 7. Okay, so don't forget, you see 1 to 7. Okay, 1 to 7. Okay, remember to end your phrase properly with tonic and leading note of the key. Okay, now next line, we need to do a new melodic idea, because as we say just now, the third line here is a section B, where you introduce a new melodic and new rhythmic idea here. So in third line, the key will still be A major and chord 4, which is a D, F, A chord. Okay, based on D, F, A, you compose a new melodic idea, which is D, you skip to F. Okay, so after F, I repeat F again. So between D and F, I add E. So between F and F, I add E as auxiliary note. Then after F, I go up to A. Okay, so some students ask me, between F and F, can I put G? Okay, but later on, your melody is going up. So between F and A, you put G again. Then your melody will look like this, in this shape. It doesn't sound so smooth. Okay, so how to add the auxiliary note between these two notes? I will say I prefer to put E, because if you put E, you can see that the melodic shape become smoother rather than you choose a G. Okay, so this is one of the important technique when you compose. Okay, so D, F, F, A. So after F, skip to A, I repeat A again. Okay, so this is how you create a smooth running melody on your own. Then you add the rhythm. The first 4 notes will be 4 semiquavers. And don't forget the G has a sharp. So F, G, A. Then here A. Okay, next bar. So for this one, I want to add a phrase like this. Okay, so this is a new melodic idea that I introduced here. Okay, so don't forget to add slur. I forgot just now, sorry. Okay. Okay, you can add the slur according to your own musical sense. Okay, now here, according to the template, we need to use sequence for the next 2 bars. Okay, sequence also the same like imitation. Okay, so according to the format, this one is chord 6, this one is chord 1. So sequence is also the same. You start with the first note of the chord, okay, D. Okay, so this is chord 6, F, A, C. So you need to start with the first note of the chord also, which is F. Okay, so you start with F, then follow the melodic shape. You copy the melodic idea and rhythmic idea, which means you start with F, then the melody go up. This helps to build up the climax because the melody go higher and higher. Okay, don't forget the G has sharp. G has a sharp. And phrase. Okay, then this one again, another sequence. Okay, copy the previous bar, which means you start with A, C, E. So the chord start with A. So your sequence, okay, same melodic idea and rhythmic idea, you start with A. Okay, then at the end of this section B, you need to end properly with a cadence. So again, I will use 4 to 5, the imperfect cadence. 4 to 5. Okay. Sorry, the slur in blue color. Okay. So this is D, F, A. So the nearest note is F. Okay, don't forget 4 to 5, you need to lead again. The tonic must go to leading note. So the tonic of the key is A. Okay. So A must go to G sharp. Eventually, tonic and leading note must be at the end of the phrase. So between F and A, you have a G. Okay. So this is a slur. So next one, last line already. These two you have already copied. And we want to end the melody. So according to templates, we want this chord 1, and then go to chord 5, and then 1. So don't forget that the perfect cadence is 5-1. This gives you tonality that sound like a full stop, is to give your music a proper ending. So full stop, right? For 5-1, you need to follow the rules of leading note go to tonic. Okay, so leading note go to tonic. Tonic is home, so it means you will reach home over here. Okay, so just now it's 1 to 7 because it's not home. 1 to 7. Okay, it's just a comma. It doesn't make you sound like going home. Okay, so last line, chord 1, as usual, use the same technique again. Chord 1 is D, F, A. You are going back to D major, last line. So the nearest note is F. Okay, so F, G, A. Okay, between F and A, I put a G. Then this can make one crochet. So you can actually there's no right or wrong in terms of grouping of notes or rhythm. You can group the notes according to your preference. So between F and A, I put G. Then after that, I skip to F again. So make sure if you want to skip or you repeat, always go to chord note. So this is chord note, and chord note. Okay, in between, you can add passing note to smoothen your melody. So after F, okay, after F, which is a chord note, you need to lead your melody go home, which is a leading note. Okay, so between F and C, this is the leading note, right? C is the leading note of D major. Between F and C, you can add E and D. Okay. So like this, C can go to D. Okay, so don't forget to add the phrase. Okay, so that's all about the melody. Next, we look at the performance direction. What are the performance direction that you need to add? The second line, your dynamics, we forgot to put dynamics. Okay, so when this one is MF, and here you imitate the first bar, the first line. So the imitation is lower than the first line. Okay, the notes is lower than the first line. So your dynamics should also decrease to MF, decrease to MP. Okay, your dynamic should also decrease. So over here, you write down MP. So as usual, you put crescendo and decrescendo, imitate them. Then here, crescendo. Then after that, as the melody go up, go to a higher direction, you can increase your dynamics to forte. Do a crescendo here to forte. Okay, and stay forte for the next bar. So the F, please write precisely on the C. So you want this to be loud, so it needs to be precisely below this note. Next line, we are building up a climax in the third line. The section B is going up. Okay, the direction of melody is going up. So your dynamic should start soft. And then when you repeat this, in the next bar, the sequence, you should start slightly louder. and then MF is even louder, and eventually you reach F. Okay, so later on I'm going to explain what are the difference between imitation and sequence, because they look the same, they imitate the same shape, same melody, and same rhythm. Then why they have different names? Okay, I'll explain to you later. And towards the end, I'll go soft. Okay, this is given by the question, so we just copy. So I want to end the music softly because it's going down. The direction is going down, so I make it soft towards the end. Okay, so that's all for this question. Okay, towards the end, you can also add ritardando, means it slow down the music. Okay, so what is the difference between imitation and sequence? Imitation occur much later. Okay, after all these, then the imitation come back. This is called imitation. You imitate this. It's not immediately. It doesn't repeat the melodic idea immediately. So this is called imitation. It doesn't repeat the idea immediately. Okay, so this is imitation. When this repeat this idea immediately, then this is called sequence. Okay, the one that imitate immediately. So all these are called sequence. Okay, so that is the difference between sequence and imitation. Okay, so that's all for this question. If you have any question or you want me to mark your homework, you can send me a message or leave me a comment or write me an email. Okay, so this is how it looks like. And of course, this is the most basic style of writing a 16 bars melody. So please stay subscribed and like my video, and this will give me encouragement to continue some other different styles of melody writing. Like beside this regular phrase, we have some music that have irregular phrase, which means it starts with an upbeat. There's some music have an upbeat and the phrases is irregular, and some have more complex modulation. They modulate to very odd key. So those are more advanced, even more advanced than this. So if you want to have receive more notification about grade 8 melody writing, please stay subscribed. And I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.